Most people think they're investing correctly when it comes to ETFs, but there's one mistake that you can make that is going to quietly cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the worst part of this is you probably don't even realize you're making this mistake when you look at your portfolio. This isn't about picking the wrong ETF, it's about using the right ETFs, just using them in the wrong way. Now, this is a mistake that I made over the last 30 years of investing. I thought I was doing everything right. I was buying good ETFs, staying consistent when it came to investing, thinking of a long-term strategy. But when I finally broke it down, I realized I wasn't diversified. I had a lot of overlap in my portfolio. And without even knowing it, running the numbers, the mistake has cost me a six-figure difference over the last 30 years. So before you buy another ETF, you need to understand this. Now, everyone says, just buy the S&P 500. That, of course, was a quote from Warren Buffett. Just invest in ETFs. Just hold the ETFs long term. And yes, at a glance, that is very good advice, but the advice overall is a little bit incomplete because two investors that have that same advice could end up with entirely different portfolios depending what they're investing in. And it comes down to something that almost no one talks about. Let me show you why this matters, but first let's break down exactly what to fix. Now, the biggest mistake when it comes to investing, owning ETFs without actually understanding what is inside that ETF. So let's say, for instance, you own an S&P 500 fund like the VOO, you own a growth fund like the QQQ, and a dividend ETF like the SCHD. When we start looking at these three very well-known ETFs, looks diversified, feels really safe when you think about it, but when you actually look what is inside of those, you'll find that most of the same companies are in the overlap within the S&P 500 and of course that QQQ. They keep showing up again and again. Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, large cap tech stocks. This is not spreading your risk. You are stacking risk by holding these. Now, what if a company slows down? What if we see AI, was just a lot more hype than we thought it was? What if some of these tech companies really do pull back? The whole portfolio is going to slow down. Not just part of it, all of it is going to start. And that is where the damage can really start happening with the portfolio. Now, let's take that one step further. Let's say two investors are investing $500 a month, same discipline, same timeline, but one has very heavy overlap. The other one has a diversified portfolio. The difference might only be 1% to 2% between having that overlap and having that portfolio that has the diversification. This doesn't feel much at all. But then when you gap the compound over the next 25 to 30 years, 70,000, 90,000, 150,000, that could make a huge difference in a portfolio depending on the balance if you have the diversification and if you don't. Now, of course, this is not from picking bad investments. It's about small inefficiencies repeated over an extended amount of time because you don't have the diversification. Now, for a lot of investors, here's another mistake that I find to be very subtle. A lot of investors, they'll buy a bunch of ETFs because it's going to be much safer. So they'll add something like the S&P 500, they'll add some NASDAQ ETFs in there, some growth ETFs. Now they have a lot of diversification. They have 8 to 10 ETFs in there. But here's the truth. Because of the overlap, because of that correlation that we see, that means that if one drops, they are all going to drop and they're all going to drop at the same time. So instead of reducing your risk with a portfolio like this, you've actually multiplied your portfolio to the exact same outcome. That is not diversification. That is duplication of efforts. Then we start thinking about the final layer, performance chasing. We see investors that watch social media, that watch the news, seeing a new hot ETF that is up 20, 30, even 40%. So they go all in on there. But what they don't realize at that point, if they're buying once the move has already happened, and how often have we seen this, that you'll go ahead and invest, growth will slow down, or you'll see a big decline in an ETF or even a stock that has been run up. So what we've got in here, we have a lot of overlap, we have a lot of concentration, and we have a lot of bad timing. And they wonder why the returns in portfolios like this are just really as low as they are. So what should you do instead? That is a really good question because this is what changed everything for me. I stopped focusing on more ETFs and started focusing on the structure of the ETFs to build out diversification. I focused a lot more on the real diversification, different exposure, not just different names within the ETFs itself. actually understanding what the ETFs hold, not just the ticker, the actual holding when you go in there. If you're holding something like the SPY, which tracks that S&P 500, then you're owning something like the VOO, which tracks that S&P 500. Then you start looking at the Vanguard Total Index or the VTI, which over 80% of that tracks the S&P 500. A lot of people, again, think they have diversification in the portfolio, but it is just a bunch of overlap over and over again. Now, of course, if you want to take some of these ETFs and hold it in a bigger percentage of the portfolio without holding a bunch of different ETFs with a bunch of different fees and a bunch of different holdings, again, that just have the overlap. I took a step back. I eliminated the overlap. If you hold two ETFs that hold very similar or very same core companies, you don't need both of them. You are just extending the risk out there. And more importantly, when it comes to investing, staying consistent, not chasing those hot ETFs, not reacting when the market moves, just discipline investing. So sitting down, actually coming up with a portfolio that works, making sure you don't have a lot of overlap in there. And that is where something, and we've talked about this before, like an SCHD does really make a big difference versus the S&P 500 funds, because you are getting some diversification or some more exposure to similar companies, but more of a value orientation than we're seeing with all of these mega caps. That's even where my portfolio, I put a little bit of exposure into Bitcoin. We have a little bit of exposure to gold ETFs out there, as well as a little bit of a heightened exposure to semiconductors with the SMH, the Van Eck Semiconductor Fund. So not only do we carry some of those S&P 500 funds, but we also have some of our core holdings or our satellite holdings out there that are really focused in some of the companies, maybe not based within the US, or focusing on some of those other commodities like Bitcoin or gold that are really outside of that investing frame. Because of course, we're not looking for an incredible amount of complexity. We are trying to keep investing pretty simplified, but I want to avoid the very simple mistakes we see in portfolios. And quietly, that is going to compound over an extended amount of time. Now, this is why a lot of people don't get rich with ETFs is they're getting out of holdings, they're selling out of portfolios, they're moving all of their allocations on a regular basis. This could cost you 1, 2, even 3% over an extended amount of time, not because the ETFs don't work in the entirety, but because they're not using these ETFs correctly. So of course, if you want, I'll break down my exact portfolio and the structure of it all in the next video. Very simple, very clear, not overlapping within this portfolio. And of course, guys, if you're newer to the channel, we are trying to make investing really debt consolidation, financial literacy, education when it comes to investing, really easy to understand. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, definitely give it a subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. It allows it to get it out to other people. Let me know in the comments exactly what you guys think about it, because I know overlap, and I know a lot of people really don't focus on the overlap in a portfolio. When it comes to actually building out a portfolio, you do have to understand if there is a lot of overlap, you're literally just buying the same company again and again and again, depending on the ETF that you're holding. And when it comes to a lot of overlap, unfortunately, that gives you a lot of unneeded or unwanted exposure to the market itself if tech or something like that does actually pull back. So guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.